All right, we've got a great guest on this week's episode of Inside the Charge, Jackman Cuso, also known as Chef Cuso on Instagram and social media. You guys probably know him from TikTok. We're going to talk steak and all things meat, so you guys want to hear this one. What's up, everybody? Welcome into this week's episode of Inside the Charge. Maddie Glab alongside Jackman Cuso, also known as Chef Cuso on TikTok and all other social media channels. Thanks for coming in to hang out in the studio. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love every time I come down here.
All right, you're based in Rochester, so you're just a short drive away. Why Rochester?
I was born there. I was raised there. So I moved back to the motherland, I guess you could call it, about 2 years ago, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so how often do you get to come to Buffalo for Bills games?
As much as I can. Any home game usually I come to, unless I'm out of town traveling for work. But a lot of them, most of them, yeah.
I was going to say, you guys could also probably see Jack out in the lots grilling up stuff before the games. We're going to get into some of the craziest stuff you've cooked out there, but I want to tackle your connection to the Bills first. So you grew up in Rochester. You try to come out here for as many home games as possible. How many have you been to this season?
This season, probably, I think 3.
3? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Not as much as last year.
That's still okay.
Yeah,
it's a good number.
It's still pretty solid numbers, but I had to travel around a bunch for work, so I missed a bunch of them. Like, I was sitting in hotel rooms watching the Bills play. But
it's been a wild season, and they are still hanging on. I believe in this group. How has it been to watch them this year as a fan? I mean, on the edge of your seat?
Stressful, yeah. Sitting there pulling my hair out every game, yeah. But yeah, I think we're heating up at the right time.
I agree.
I mean, I'm excited. You heat up going to the playoffs, you keep that momentum going, who knows what could happen, you know?
Do you have any favorite players? Who are the guys that you really enjoy watching?
I love them all. You know,
Yeah.
my favorite players change every week, every game, every play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
who's somebody newer that you're enjoying watching this season?
oh, I gotta go with my boy Kincaid. Kincaid's great.
We love
He's
Dalton
a great
Kincaid.
dude as well. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of getting to know him, and he's a good dude.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, do you have any interaction with any of the players? You know Dalton Kincaid. How did that connection begin?
One of us, I guess, probably followed the other one on social media and commented on a post, and that's kind of how we started talking. I'm sure some of you guys have seen I brought a Tomahawk steak and fed him gave him a Tomahawk steak on the field.
How did that interaction happen? Was that something pre-planned on social media?
We planned it out. So the goal of that was, we probably would have gotten in trouble, but the goal was that he scores his first touchdown in the NFL, runs up to me on front row in the end zone, he grabs the Tomahawk out of my hand, takes a big chunk out of it, the Tomahawk, as his touchdowns. It's part of his celebration, you know what I mean?
You got to be a part of an NFL touchdown celebration. Not everybody can say that.
Well, he didn't score that game.
Oh, so he
came up after the game. Yeah, he came up after the game.
That's right.
If he had done it during the game, that
epic.
clip would be on ESPN.
Yeah.
I'd be like crazy.
Probably would have gotten fined too.
Yeah, he would have got fined. I probably would have got banned for the year.
Field. Yeah, I guess we're glad that didn't happen then.
It might still. Yeah.
Who knows what's in the works?
Who knows?
Are there any other guys that you have talked to, connected with?
Yeah, I mean, we're all pretty busy, you know. We're all busy doing our own things, but mainly over just short conversations on social media. Talked with Gabe Davis a few times about just hanging out and cooking. A lot of the players have asked me to come cook for them, but I don't cater exactly, so that's not my specialty. And I'm like, all right, maybe we could do it if we film a video together, but I'm not going to charge you money because I don't cater professionally, so that's not something I do.
Okay, yep, I see. But you got to cook for the team at training camp a couple years ago.
Yes.
How was that experience?
That was wild. That was my first time ever catering for anything, you know what I mean? And it was just for fun. I made a ton of burnt ends, pulled pork, some green apple coleslaw, just some
Love that.
good barbecue. And the green apple coleslaw is really refreshing. Cuts the savory meat very well. It pairs great. It was fun. I mean, your social media team kills it. They came out to me with a giant, shout out. Seriously, they're amazing. They're always coming up with comedy gold, and they're great at what they do, and they're great people. But they came out to me with a giant spatula with a mic at the end of it. They're like, yeah, let's go interview some of the players.
Oh my
and
gosh.
we interviewed like Brandon Bean too, just holding this giant spatula up. You know, it was super funny. And then Darian, also
Yep, Chef
a great
Darian
guy.
was there as well. You were getting to cook with him. That's a fun experience, being a fan of the team and kind of getting to, you were kind of let in to get to see who these guys are, be around them. Not everybody gets to do that, but it's because of what you do that allowed you to kind of be a part of training camp for a day. So let's get into that. I mean, you started out early on TikTok with cooking, and mainly steak is your thing. And if you go to your TikTok or Instagram, what you'll see is these cut up videos of you cooking what looks like the most incredible meal. Anytime you click on a video, I look at your stuff and I'm like, I wish I could do that, but there's no chance in my life I would be able to do that. So how did you begin? Where did the love for steak and food begin?
Yeah, great question. So I was in college at the time, just with a house of guys. You know, none of us really cooked much or cooked well at all, but we were always outside drinking. You know, as college kids do, kind of a frat house type ordeal. You know, and then I started grilling up. You know, for everyone. I just found like peace in it almost, and they convinced me to start recording videos.
Because they enjoyed your food so much, or because you were doing it so much? I mean,
yeah, because they enjoyed it, and I would always do, I mean, as you can tell in my content, very untraditional things, and clearly I have no cooking background. I did mechanical engineering in college. So then after college, they convinced me to start, like, I was sending them Snapchats, basically, of my food. And they're like, dude, just start posting these online, so I did. And, I mean, never really got like some crazy growth in the beginning, but I just had fun doing it, and I was working a mechanical engineering job while I was doing this on the side, and once I started seeing some growth, I got like my first brand deal. I think it was maybe $200 for 2 posts.
You're like, I'm quitting my
And
job,
like,
$200, we're rich.
I was like, oh my Lord. I was like, passive income, this is it. This is gonna be a great like side gig, you know what I mean? But little did I know it would take off a lot farther than that, yeah.
So when did it take off, and when did you realize, hey, I can make a living off of this? I don't need my super smart degree that I got that I was probably making really good money with.
Yeah, well, it was I had a great job. I was like designing and selling commercial HVAC systems to like Google, Tesla, Apple, the military. I was working up in the Silicon Valley doing that. And I was on the side, I was growing Chef Cuso. So I was working like 20 hours a day between the two things, because I was at that point, I was posting 3 videos every single day.
When did you sleep? Never?
Yeah, I mean, I was not in a great sleep schedule place. Now I'm in a great sleep schedule place. Good. But yeah, so I was doing both at the same time. I realized like, whoa, this could be something big. I never went viral overnight, which I'm grateful for, because it could be like almost too much, like overwhelming, and then people don't know what to do when it happens, and it can be hard on you mentally, because you're like, how do I keep it going?
Exactly.
But so like I did this, mine was more like a slower climb, which allowed me to just keep doing the same thing, stay consistent, have that delayed gratification to where, you know, something in the end could be huge. And then eventually I got to a point where I was making more off social media than my day job, so I quit.
That's amazing. Did this happen during COVID that you really started to blow up?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was when everybody was at home, nothing better to do but go on Steak Talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was during COVID. Yeah, I was just literally just posting videos of me grilling in my backyard, and it was definitely raunchier back then. Like the voiceovers weren't as PG as they are now, and the videos were nowhere near as
slapped together.
Good. Yeah, they were like horrible. I'd post like one clip of a steak searing, you know what I mean?
Are you still editing your videos?
No, I have a great.
We're big time now.
Yeah, I have a great full-time videographer, editor. It's one of my very good friends my whole life growing up.
But it started off, you were doing everything yourself.
Yes,
the recipes, the buying, the cooking, the voiceovers, the editing. I mean, that's a lot to do to produce content at first.
And in the beginning, before I had agents or anything, I was reaching out to the brands too and communicating with the brands and doing all that. So it was, and that was while I was working that other job. So it was it was a lot, but I could see the end goal that I was getting closer to, and I'm very glad I stuck with it because it was worth it in the end.
So the end goal right now, you have brand deals, you have people that are working for you, you have even your own line of things, Chef Cuso's Dirt, which is a bunch of different seasonings that you've released along with some other things. When you look back at how you started, can you believe that you've come this far?
It's cool, yeah. It's humbling. I mean, it goes to show like you can really anybody can do anything because that was not my field. That was not what I had knowledge in. I learned off the YouTube and the internet. So, I mean, if you have something you're passionate about, just go for it. You never know what's gonna happen. What's the worst that happens? You know.
It's cool talking to people like you who had a passion, were able to make something out of it. We had Josh Richards on the show earlier this year, and I mean, he's huge on TikTok as well, but similar story to you. He just started posting and posting and posting even before TikTok was a thing, and it wasn't he wasn't like an overnight celebrity. He said it was something that he had to kind of work at for several years before he became big time, and now he's got a bunch of brand deals and is making a lot of money off of the platform that he gets to post on, and same as you getting to post on TikTok and gain a following. What is your audience like? What are the comments like if you go to a video? What is it like kind of being on your page?
Yeah, I mean, it depends which app you're on, really. So now we've grown, I'm probably at like 6.5 million total between 6.5 million subscribers between all the apps.
Wow.
And so, I mean, it's different audiences on each app. So I'd say, like, if you look on Facebook, it's mainly people that had no idea who I was because that's my newest one.
Okay.
And beforehand, and just ruthless comments. Yeah, like because they're going viral to videos to audiences that have never seen my videos before. So, I mean, I don't even read them because I mean, it just get in your head. You know what I mean? But you got to ignore all that.
Don't read the comments, kids.
Yeah, but then like Instagram is like a very loyal like following that because I started on Instagram.
Which is cool, like to gain a loyal following, to gain people that have been around from the beginning of you posting. It's like a little cool community that you've probably.
It's very cool, and it's definitely a community. I'd say like everything, all the comment sections are great. Really, besides Facebook, where I get destroyed daily. Yeah, but it's part of it. It's all part of it. You know what I mean? You gotta. If you're you're putting yourself out there on the internet, you gotta expect it.
I know, but so let's talk a little bit about some of the deals that you've been able to do. You hooked up with the MLB this year and got to do a bunch with them. What has that been like, and what have you been able to do with the league? Because it's interesting, and you see the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL partnering with more influencers and trying to create content based on that. But what has it been getting to work with the MLB, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so this year was I worked with the MLB once before, but then this year we signed a deal to work throughout the entire season. And I was basically traveling around to ballparks across the country and taste testing food. So I was trying out the food. And
not a bad job at all.
No, it was fun. It was fun. It was a lot of traveling, but it was a blast. MLB is great to work with. Like, they don't mess around. Every event they do is just through the roof max, that you can tell like there's so much planning that goes behind everything. It was so fun, and the World Series was a blast. We went to both stadiums, so it was cool.
Okay, favorite ballpark that you went to, and favorite, who has the best food? What team has the best food?
Best food, I would say either the Boston Red Sox or San Francisco.
What'd you eat that was next level?
Lobster roll in Boston, and then San Francisco actually had a crab sandwich similar.
I've had that.
Yeah, it's so
really good. And they have really good garlic fries there too.
Yes, yeah. The head chef. So when I pulled up, the head chef. Normally I pull up and there's like a spread of food like above the field or on the field, and I taste test it. We record it, get the reactions, and then cut it all up later. But I showed up to San Francisco, and the executive chef was waiting for me. He's like, tosses me an apron, and I had to make everything I ate. So it was a cool experience. He put me to work. Yeah, it was cool.
Okay, what do you do when you don't like something but you can't show it to the camera? What's the go-to face or the go-to? I don't want to give away your secrets.
Yeah, if it's something I made, I'm pretty transparent about it. Yeah, so I post fails on my page. So I'll post like if something does not end up tasting good, I will be honest about it.
What's the
But
biggest?
if somebody else cooks it, I'm just like, yeah, just smile and nod. You know what I mean?
Smile and wave,
Yeah.
boys. What's the biggest fail you've had from something you've cooked?
Ooh, I've tried like some weird stuff. I tried to cook a prime rib like a brisket, and it was like chalk. It was the driest thing you've ever had. It was
Tough.
horrible. Yeah, it was like, I mean, I gave some to my dogs afterwards, and they were slurping their water bowl after. Yeah, but then like some weird, we do unconventional stuff too. Like at a Bills tailgate this year, I dry aged, because that's something I've been getting into is dry aging meat. So I dry aged a filet mignon. It might have been bison, either beef or bison, beef tenderloin, and I dry aged it in pumpkin spice. So like pumpkin,
Fall vibes.
yeah, like canned pumpkin
Yeah.
and then like pumpkin spice
That
seasoning.
sounds good though.
Yeah, it actually tasted good. It looked a little weird. It tasted good. Then Gordon Ramsay reacted to the video and just ripped me to shreds at the Bills tailgate. So I also was spraying the ketchup and mustard in the video and stuff too. So you could see all that. He's like, "What are you doing to that man?" You know what I mean? It was hilarious. It was so funny.
Gordon Ramsay, a chef who's like, what are these kids doing these days?
Yeah, he's cool, but he all that's like 4 or 5 times now he's reacted to my videos.
Yeah.
Like he'll just film his reaction watching my videos. First 3 were just destroying me. He was picking out the weirdest videos to react to. Like some of the videos we do are weird, some of them are we're trying to make clearly good food. But he picks the ones that are like, what is he making? What the hell is he doing? But yeah, that was funny. But then like your phone starts blowing up, people are like hitting you up. Gordon just ripped
Hey,
you
I
to
just
shreds
saw
again.
this.
I'm like, oh, great.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great
Yeah.
day.
I love seeing that. I love waking up to that. But it's cool. It's cool. The most recent one, he had a lot of positive things to say.
There you
so
go. Hey, we're on
a
the up
good
and
note.
up.
Yeah, we're on a good
Yeah.
note. We're working our way up. Yeah, his respect board.
What's a Bills tailgate like with you? Is it something new every home game that you come to? Is your truck or car packed to the brim with food? Kind of take me through a tailgate with you?
Yeah, so normally it starts the day before, cooking a bunch of food and filming all day. Then waking up super early, driving from Rochester. Well, I live in Fairport now, actually.
Okay.
Driving from Fairport to here, which is like an hour, 20 minutes with no traffic. And then I pull up here right as the lots open. Start filming before as many people get there as possible, because then it gets hectic and hard to film.
Then the drunk people start
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
around.
Well, then I start getting drunk too. Yeah, I mean, I'm at the Bills game. I'm
You're
gonna be drinking
enjoying
too.
yourself.
Yeah, it's cold out there. But yeah, so I make a ton of food. I give food to whoever wants food and comes up and says hi. You get food. I obviously just hand it away. Like I don't pay. People don't pay for it.
Right.
And then some people I'll ask, like, do you want to hop in the video or like try it on film?
Yeah.
You know. And then we've cooked a lot of very weird things for Bill's tailgates.
What's
We
the
normally try to go
weirdest?
over the top.
Give
I
me
brought like a huge jamon leg one time.
Okay.
Like from Spain, jamon iberico.
Explain what that is, because I'm sure I don't know what that is, but I'm sure other people listening to this are like, wait,
it's like
what?
it's like some of the best like ham in the world, I guess you could say.
Where do you get that from?
Spain. Yeah, it shipped over from Spain. It was like
Is
I
it
don't know.
like
I don't want-
$500 to ship that thing from Spain?
one of my meat
You
sponsors
lucky,
sent it.
lucky,
but
lucky.
it was like $1,500 if you buy it at the
Oh
grocery
my
store.
gosh.
But we just had this whole thing. We were shaving it off, super thin, and we were just giving away to everyone who saw it, and everyone who saw it was like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
We
what
used
am
it as
I
like a
eating?
baseball bat. We were swinging around, hitting beer cans with it. But yeah, it was fun. I've brought like whole wheels of cheese, the raclette cheese. You melt it and shave it down, and we made sandwiches. The pumpkin spice tenderloin, and then a lot of normal food as well.
Where are you set up so everybody who's listening to this knows kind of where to go if they're gonna go to a Bills home game, and if you're gonna be at some games that are left, or maybe next year
Yeah,
too.
maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
I normally go right near that chiropractor, right
Okay,
across the
yep.
street from the entrance here, or at the Jim Kelly's tailgate.
Yep.
So I go to one of the two.
Bounce between the
Yeah,
two.
I bounce between the two.
That sounds like some pretty epic food at a tailgate. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
fun.
I would expect a big leg of ham or a big wheel of cheese
Yeah.
that you're melting cheese off onto sandwiches. That sounds like pretty epic and
Yeah,
amazing.
we want to go over the top. It's more fun.
Yeah, that's great. What's something that you've cooked and you've posted on TikTok that you're most proud of? Is there like something that you've made that you're most proud of or that has gone the most viral? Or is it the simple things that go viral?
Yeah, one of the most viral things lately was that I was very proud of was I've been doing a bunch of crispy pork belly lately, so like chicharron.
Yep.
And then I like handmade porchetta, which was cool. I've never done that before, and it came out insane. It was like one of those things where we didn't have much faith, started filming it, and it just everything clicked. The stars aligned, and it just came out great. That video didn't even get that many views, but to us, it meant a lot because it was like, wow, we did that, and we did it efficiently and quick, and without messing it up.
Who are the lucky people that get to taste your food with you?
My dogs. So my fiance, she runs some of my social media accounts. So she works with me, and then my videographer, editor works with me, and then we have tons of leftovers all the time. We either give to my 2 giant dogs, or we have a bunch of people over and watch football, or watch whatever's on that night, whether it's UFC, I don't know. And we just give everyone the food. Yeah.
So you say you come up with some crazy recipes, and it sounds like what you do is kind of not the most simple, whether it's cuts of meat that you're using or whether it's what you're dry aging things with. How do you come up with what you want to do?
My brain is like a spiraling abyss of thoughts. So yeah, they kind of just come to me. Sometimes it's just
In the middle of the night.
laying in bed trying to fall asleep at 1 a.m.
Yep.
We also have brainstorming sessions. So we have a whiteboard with countless ideas on it. So we will never run out of ideas. That's something I never worry about. And then we'll go back sometimes and look at videos that performed very well and how can we remake and tweak this, put a spin on it. So we're not making the exact same video, but we're making something we know is going to perform well again. Because you always got to look back and see what performed well, why, how did the first 5 seconds of that video pan out? What are the first 5 clips?
Gotta grab people right away.
Yeah, it's all about the intro, especially with food content. Yeah.
What's the best intro? What's the secret recipe to getting people to listen to the next minute?
Yeah, you gotta go dive right in. People's attention spans are not as long anymore.
Here we go. I'm gonna make a steak in 30 seconds.
It's normally you gotta start with an action shot almost, and then we've been starting with ASMR lately, and people also, I think maybe it's like a primal instinct. People love when we just are holding a giant hunk of meat and we say
tension grabbing.
Yeah, we're making burn ends today, we're making brisket today, you know what I mean? Or we're making a lobster stuffed prime rib today, you know what I mean? People, I don't know, I think it's our primal instincts, they just love giant chunks of meat in the intro.
What's the most expensive cut of meat or chunk of meat that you've ever held in your hands?
Oh.
And what was it?
I don't know. Thousands of dollars. I cooked this week. I posted a video of, there's a Kobe Grand Champion cow every year, which is in Kobe, Japan, they decide which cow is the best one. And my meat dealer won one of the cows. There's 12 of them each year. He won one of them. He got the whole entire thing imported in the U.S., which was the first time ever. And he sent us a bunch of steaks from it. So that, I guess, would be the rarest cow on the planet. So that was very cool. I don't know the price because something like that's I feel like
it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money though. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's got to be the Japanese Wagyu stuff which I like. I mean, in small portions, but it's definitely worth trying. But it's not the greatest. It's not my favorite meat there is. The price does not correlate with being my favorite meat at all.
What's your favorite meat with the price?
Australian Wagyu. So it's just it's a mix between USDA Prime almost and Japanese Wagyu. So it's not as fatty. It's not as buttery and rich, but it's got the crazy marbling, but not as much. It's looks more like a steak than just a white sheet of marbling. You know what I mean?
Since you're in front of so many different types of cuts and high-end meat and steak, do you ever have to remind yourself, like, I am getting to eat and cook with things that people never get to?
Yes.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. But at the same time, I'm like, okay.
You're just used to it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I don't think I like to give a lot of it away and share
Right.
with people,
That's awesome.
so that more people can experience
That's
it.
amazing.
But and at the same time, I like to do recipes that aren't crazy expensive, so that people at home can recreate them without selling their leg. You know what I mean? Like some of these steaks are just so overly priced.
Right.
It's insane. So I like to have a nice middle ground, a nice balance of like making something crazy over the top, and then like making something actually relatable. Because
Okay.
I want to have relatable stuff on there too that people recreate at home. Because I get joy out of people recreating my recipes and like DMing me about it and being like, "We love this. We make all your recipes
Right.
at home." So yeah, we have a nice mix in there because you
So-
can't just do the crazy
So
stuff.
I'm going to my local grocery store and I want to find something. I want to find a steak, a cut of steak, type of steak that's incredible for not a lot of money. Where am I going first? What do you find has the best bang for your buck that you can find at a local store?
Yeah, it's a good question. So there's a lot of times at grocery stores, they'll have steaks that have been out there like 2 days, so they mark down the price. They'll cut them in half. So like I can walk into my local grocery store and find a dry-aged prime ribeye for like half the price of what it was yesterday. You know what I mean? You just gotta know where to look. But then like if you're actually in the store, you don't need to worry about grade as much as you do marbling. So I've seen choice steaks in the grocery store that are better than the prime steaks right next to it for double the price. So I just go and hunt based off that intramuscular fat on the steak.
And what does that look like for people who are not sure?
So think about a steak like this. It's like red, you know? There's like almost like tiger stripes in there of white. So that's like the intramuscular fat. And so that is what breaks down as you cook it and makes it more tender. And fat is flavor, so it's going to give you more flavor as you cook it too. So it's going to taste better.
Okay, I love it. That is a great note for everybody the next time we're in our grocery store, what to look for. And it's interesting that you say sometimes grade isn't as important as the marbling because...
And price too, yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to talk about what's on the horizon for you and what you've been up to. You have Cuso cuts now, and we have some dirt on the table. Do you want to explain what you've been able to get into because of all these brand deals and just how popular you've become on social media?
Yes. So we started off selling meat actually, and I quickly realized that is a huge pain because like you're shipping it across the country.
And there's a lot of companies that do it now.
Oh yeah, but if you're like a small like startup almost
tough to
trying to do
compete?
it, it's tough to not as tough to compete as it is like the logistics of it. By the time it gets to somebody's house, if it was like delayed in shipment or they left it they have like a mail room at their apartment complex, it's thawed and then they want a whole refund. You know what I mean? So it's like that. So we stopped selling meat immediately. We're selling just like cutlery, and then about a year ago we got into the seasonings, and so basically my whole thing before I started it was I clearly make these companies that sponsor me money. Why not do it for myself and make something that'll outlive my social media? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't have to always be making videos in order to have income, and I can build something more than just a following. So I always wanted to start a company, whatever it was. So we got all natural seasonings now, and those launched like a little over a year ago and have taken over the business. Like we sell knives too as well, but the seasonings have gone crazy.
The dirt is what people want.
The dirt is the best seller.
I love the name. How did you come up with the name?
Yeah, we got like dirt, gravel, grass, dust. Then we have like alcohol ones that are like tequila, lime, habanero, maple bourbon, and they're not actually alcohol, but like maple bourbon has actual bourbon broken down into a concentrated.
Not gonna get you drunk, though.
No, there's no alcohol content.
Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. But then like spicy garlic buffalo, hot honey. There's tons of. We got 10 flavors now. We have 2 sauces coming out early next year, like Q1. We have 2 more seasonings coming out, and then we have plans to eventually do more than just edible products. But
That's amazing.
That's
Do you
down the
have
road.
do you have a favorite seasoning that you always find yourself going to or using?
I love them all. They all go great in on different foods. You know what I mean? So if I'm making tacos, I love tequila lime habanero. And you don't even need to cook it. It's like
That
almost like
sounds good.
tahini, but all natural. And you could just sprinkle it on top at the end. Like you could put it on an avocado, it'd be amazing. You put it on fruit, amazing. Then like beef, I use different ones on beef, like dirt, maple bourbon. Gravel is very like neutral. It's almost like Montreal steak seasoning mixed with like hash green chilies in there too.
Ooh, yum.
And then pork, chicken, seafood. You use like the hot honey and the buffalo and then the lemon pepper, stuff like that.
And you said you have stuff dreamed up for whatever's next. How has it been to kind of get to move into this next part of what you have become as a content creator and now getting to, brands aren't making money off of you, you're getting to make money off of your own self.
Yeah. Well, I still do brand deals, don't get me
Yes,
wrong. 'Cause-
totally.
Yeah, so
Those are great.
Yeah, there's two different companies. It's the social media company and then this Cuso cuts. I mean, this, when you start something like this, it's all trial and error. You learn as you go. You make serious mistakes. Like we've had to, like, we recently got into a big retailer and barcodes were wrong on bottles, and we had to recall like 15,000
Oh,
bottles.
man.
So like lost all the money that we were gonna make on the first big retailer we were ever in. So I mean, you learn as you go, but
Totally.
it's cool. I mean, it's getting in more people's hands as possible, and it's growing at an alarming rate. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. From
for sure.
mechanical engineering to being able to sell cutlery and seasonings and going viral on social media, that's a quite the jump.
Yeah, so you never know what's gonna happen. Life is weird.
Yeah, what's your advice to people who you get to talk to who kind of are in awe of your story?
Yeah, I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. You know what I mean? I'm just a regular dude. It's just, you never know unless you try, and what's the worst that happens if you fail, you know?
Totally.
You just gotta really not care what others think. Like, a lot of people hold themselves back with like building up their first post or building up their first business, and they don't want to get judgment from their friends and family or something like that. They're like, why is Jack posting videos of meat on the internet all of a sudden? You know what I mean? But you got to really just block that out, trust yourself, be yourself, believe in your own vision, and you never know what the hell's gonna happen. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, we're gonna finish off this interview by putting you on the hot seat, asking you a couple rapid fire questions that should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
What is your favorite meat to cook besides a steak, besides beef?
Probably wild game meat. Yeah, whether it's elk or venison.
What's the craziest type of wild game or meat that you've cooked?
Grizzly bear.
Whoa.
Yeah, not good.
Is that tough?
Yeah, well, you have to cook it super high because there's like a trichinosis if you don't cook it long enough. So you have to cook it way beyond well done. And it's just membraney and tough, yeah. Camel, we made camel tostadas, which was
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
It was a play on words. And then we did, I've eaten horse in Italy and Sicily. So I've had some like horse fillet and horse burgers.
Are you a
It's
fan of
actually-
those?
It's actually pretty good,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, those are some of the weird ones, I guess.
Wow.
There's probably more I can't think of.
I
Yeah.
mean, those are some things that people have probably never tried and never will try in their life. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you somebody who's like, I'll try anything. I'll take a bite of anything.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try anything once. Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. If you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what would be your dream job?
Grilling meat on the internet. I mean, what I'm doing right now is probably my dream job. Yeah.
Love it. If you could switch lives with one Bills player, who would it be?
I don't know. Maybe a $100 million contract plus sounds pretty nice. So
Yeah.
whatever. That
Whoever's
sounds
making
cool.
that
Yeah,
money.
whoever's making the most money, I guess. But I love my life, so I wouldn't really switch with anybody.
Okay. So we know steak is wonderful, meat is wonderful, but sometimes what can enhance a meal is a good side dish.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
your favorite side dish?
I've been on a health kick lately, so probably asparagus. But
Boo.
yeah, I know. Probably like potato gratin or like a nice truffle mac and cheese.
That sounds
or just
great.
some surf with your turf. You know what I mean? Like some king crab legs or lobster tail, something like that. Yeah.
What's the best restaurant you've ever eaten at? I'm sure you've eaten at some crazy
a lot of
cool
restaurants.
places.
Yes.
What's at the top of the list?
Probably like a restaurant I can't even remember the name of in the middle of nowhere in Italy or Sicily.
Yeah.
Just like really authentic.
You can't go wrong over there.
Yeah, Italian food. Yeah, you can't go wrong there. And everything's so fresh, and all the ingredients are just real. It's great.
When you were over there, did you find yourself ordering the same thing over and over again, or do you like to try different things on a menu?
Yeah, I like to try different things, but I also am like the type of person who goes out to eat and orders like shamelessly will order like 2 or 3 entrees, you know, just to try a bunch of things and just eat a lot of food, especially on vacation.
Yeah, why not? Okay, last question for you. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Weirdest thing ever? Probably the grizzly bear. I made it too, so.
Did you kill it too? I'm just kidding.
No, my buddy did. Yeah, my buddy did,
Your
and
buddy
he sent
did?
it to me in the mail. And then it was like a shoulder, like just like a pulled pork, you know, like a pork shoulder. So I tried to make pulled grizzly bear, and it was funky. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah.
10 out of 10 would not recommend.
Yeah, definitely would not recommend. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, Jack, thanks so much for taking the time to come on over to Buffalo, sit down with us, tell us about Cuso Cuts and your journey to going viral on TikTok, on Instagram, all the things that you've cooked. The official grill master of the Buffalo Bills as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're happy to have him a part of Bills Mafia, and I'm sure we'll be looking for you at some future home games. I'm sure Bills fans will as well, as after we heard what you get to cook up there.
Yeah, you know where to find me. And once again, thank you so much for having me on. Thank you guys for everything you do, and go Bills. We're on a good run right now. Let's keep staying high. Yeah.
Let's keep it going, and go find your Cuso Cuts stuff on social media, everybody.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Jack.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. All right, stay tuned for more episodes of Inside the Charge coming up in a couple weeks.